So while I was watching a video, I saw on the side a video listed about the most ridiculous board meeting ever. Government board meeting. I was like, what is that? Curiosity got me, so I clicked on it. And you want to talk about, oh my gosh. I now know why some individuals are not challenged in government. Because they act like children. The kind of children you can't smack. The one that are so obstinate that actually need a good or to have the thing taken away. And you can't do that to adults. So I apologize now for the cringeworthiness that you are about to see. But I'm hoping you are being to be enlightened by the stupidity you are about to hear and see. And possibly learn to call out gaslighting.
Next item, resolution determining trustee position vacant.
I guess I'll make that motion
Okay, motion made by trustee Ramirez-Lewinsky.
for discussion.
He's trying to have someone removed who is his political rival from the board. And at this moment, no one else is going yes.
We're waiting for a second. Still waiting for a second.
Now he's looking towards the individual he believes should second his motion, which happens to be the female with a dark gray coat, sweater, or whatever that you see it at the edge of the screen.
You ought to know you're not going to get one.
That would be the man who he's trying to remove.
You already made your speech, and so we don't want to hear it again, to be real honest with you.
So
You're not going to get a second.
Dies for lack of a second. It dies for.
I understand, trustee Segwelt.
Well, how long are you going to wait? I'm just asking a question. How long are you going to wait?
Yeah, well, Segwelt.
Well, how long are you going to wait?
Now I want to sit there and point out this face. It is kind of distorted because the video quality isn't that great. But there's no shame there. There's no stress. He totally feels as if he's in the right.
I'm just asking a question. How long are you going to wait?
Yeah, well, I'm still waiting for a second.
Totally oblivious. Totally oblivious. This also goes into belief systems. If you feel that you're in the right, you're not being obstinate. You're being justified.
Still waiting for a second.
Now, this also is a tactic. It's a bully tactic. I'm going to put this out there, and then because I know the rules aren't really there to stop me, I'm just going to sit here until you get sick of dealing with me and you do what I want. Removing him. Washington comes to mind.
Attorney Rhodes, is there any time limit on how long you have to wait before a motion dies for lack of a second? Or are we going to sit here till midnight?
There's no time limit. The board has the right to make a motion as it does in all other instances.
Okay. Is there any procedure that we can do to end this?
And the waiting, you mean?
Yes. Yes, end the waiting.
And the petulant child over here is laughing. It literally is like dealing with a child. It's funny. It's the waiting. You're going to try and take away my power.
Move on. I'm glad you think this is funny.
It is.
I don't think
Not
it's funny.
you. Yeah.
He's laughing too.
It's ridiculous is what
He's
it is.
laughing.
It's not funny, it's ridiculous.
It's not funny, he says. It's ridiculous, in case you couldn't figure out who was talking. It's not funny. It's ridiculous. He is the one with the ridiculousness, but the ridiculousness in his mind is that they won't second his motion to remove another board member who is his political rival, because he's right in a belief system of a 5-year-old child.
If the board determines that the time limit for making a motion is done, someone can make a motion to determine that there has been no second and move on to the next item.
I'll make that motion that there has been no second, ample time has been given, and it dies for lack of a second.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay?
Can I say something?
No, because there was no second.
They just had a second, so now.
Well, they
we
just,
discuss
On a
that.
motion to move forward, not on the original motion.
You can discuss the motion to move forward.
yeah.
Okay, I'll discuss the motion to move forward.
Now, this is the woman that he expected to stand by him in removing the gentleman that is next to her in the blue shirt.
I have to say, from all the emails I have received from many, many residents and phone calls I have received from many, many residents, that I am very disappointed in this board. That members of this board have attended many meetings talking about improving our image. And your lack of wanting to discuss this issue shows that you do not care about this community nor our image. As I have said, not only have I received emails and letters from residents in this community, I've received them from across the country. This is not setting a good example to our community. This is not setting a good example to any community. This is not what I want for our community. This is not why I ran for office. This is not the example I want to set for this community. And I'm ashamed of this board because you're saying this is acceptable behavior in our community. And as President Sardo said, you're very much saying this is a sanctuary city for abuse.
You know, I would just add to that, and you know,
Call the question.
we're not calling the question. We're talking about this this matter here because
Call the question.
He's got a right to call the question.
he's got a right to call the question. But I'm just saying that I also have a right to respond.
No, you don't have a right to do what's not legal. This has not been seconded,
What's
which
not
shouldn't be any
legal is what this
discussion.
board does every
There was no
every
second.
2 weeks.
There's
And-
no
There was a
discussion.
second. There was a second.
There was a second to can this thing.
And move on.
Not to backdoor
That may have been what
discuss it.
your interpretation was of the second, but that's not what the second was.
Really? I did the
Yes.
seconding, and I seconded trustee Sigwald's motion to,
To move on.
Die for a lack of a second, so we were moving on. So
Yes.
that's what the second was. The second was
And
not
we're
for
discussing,
initial-
we're discussing the lack of a second.
We had discussion by trustee Ramirez.
He's not going to get off of this. That's the beautiful thing about people who are in a belief system, regardless of what side of the aisle they're on. You see it play out as a childish game. We may skip through this because it gets worse.
Slowinski, we got our lecture. Now, trustee Humfer called the question. He has every right to call the question. And Robert's Rules of Order is when you call the question,
We're not-
there is no more discussion.
We're not
You call
operating
the
under
vote.
Robert's Rules of Order.
Oh, because it's convenient to you now.
No, because we have our own rule.
I like that woman. I think she's my mom in another life.
Wait. Trustee Sardo is correct. We don't operate under Robert's rules, but our rules,
President Sardo, thank you.
I'm sorry, President Sardo, but our rules do indicate that
And there's the guy that placates and encourages him, unwittingly. He would be Jeff Sessions today. Technically, these are the rules, and we're going to go abide by them. And allowing the little next to him to abuse them in a way that abuses other people. And it makes you want to go slam your head on the wall. Facepalm.
when you call the question, that issue is non-debatable.
Right. It ends
So you
discussion.
do have to, under your rules, call for the vote. The vote is to determine whether or not there's been sufficient debate on the issue of determining that there's been no second.
Thank you for the clarification, Attorney Rhodes. The question's been called.
It's just more of the same stuff when they don't want to hear what other people have to say.
No
They
debate.
shut
We don't
off
want
the
debate, do we?
It's
in
okay
this
when
town?
they do it, and
We
when
don't want
nobody
debate
else
in this
does it,
town.
it's okay.
Only when it suits certain people do we have debate in this town.
The question has been called.
Yeah, the question has been called, all right. The question is, why are you people sitting on this board? That's the question.
The question has been called. We need to take the vote.
No, the
I think she was my mother in another life, but I am like the next level because my ass would have said, fine, we'll sit here all night. I'm going to get my crowns and a coloring book.
question is, why are you people sitting on this board? Who do you represent in this community? That's the question.
Somebody raises their hand. They raise their hand. No. Even the audience doesn't want him.
Who do you represent?
I guess we're sitting on here to make sure you don't ramrod everything you want.
Ramrod?
Yes.
Ramrod?
Absolutely.
Ramrod?
Absolutely.
Trustee Ritter, you are... I hate to say this.
Thank you, Ed.
I really hate to say
Oh,
this.
no, you won't hate to say it. You'll love saying it. Go ahead, insult me.
I really hate to say this because you should be a person, especially a school teacher.
I like that. This is really great. It gives you a really good eye-opening of what actually happens, not only in this little political arena, but in the larger one as well. So this childish man is now going to call into question his moral character on school teacher, on why he should do blah, 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 whatever. Oh, you're a school teacher, so you should do this. It's kind of like the same thing you hear from one side of the aisle. Oh, you're black. You have to vote this. Oh, you're white. You're guilty of this. That's just how it's done. It's a belief system. You went down this road, so you have to go do this. And it's used against you. And once you figure out that that's what they're doing, you can tell them to stick it where the sun don't shine. Unfortunately, many people have not figured that part out yet as far as the verbal backlash to it. I am happy to see that most of the communities across this country are going, yeah, up yours.
Right. All right. Call my employment into question
who should
now.
be concerned about the standards of this community.
Bill, I've listened to your lectures all night.
Yeah, I
We've
know
spent
you've
an
listened
hour
to my
of tonight
lectures.
listening to you
Yeah,
lecture
unfortunately,
us.
nothing ever sinks into any of you people.
And he's also, he is the moral authority because his lecturing isn't teaching them anything. He's teaching them. They don't know what they're doing. He's the moral authority.
I think that we already are waiting for counter actions that you requested from the state's attorney's
Yeah,
office.
don't worry, they will happen, believe me. So whether you guys
Well,
want
why
to
are
take
we
care of
being
this
preemptive
or
of-
somebody else is going to do it, we could
question's been
clean our
called.
own house as we ought to do, but oh no, not this town, not this board, not these people.
If there was a
I hope the
recall
voters out there
ordinance,
are
you'd
watching.
be gone, Bill,
I hope
and
the
that'd be
voters
end
are
of
out
it.
there watching this because they're going to see what kind of representation they have on this board.
If there
This
was
is
a recall,
disgusting.
And President
It
Sardo,
is
you'd be
disgusting.
gone, Bill.
President Sardo, the
We're tired
voters,
of you.
President
gone.
Sardo, the voters
I'll take
also,
the 96-6 vote every day of the week.
they also know of the double standard where your police report says you threatened to kill your wife, and this is misdemeanor. Now,
I
let's
was not
move on.
charged with anything,
move
Trustee
on.
Sigwald.
Well, there's an eye-opening. That was his sin thrown out to him as he tries to throw out somebody else's moral thing that they're so wrong as being a teacher and not supporting blah, blah, blah.
With anything,
move
Trustee
on.
Sigwald.
That's all
I was
right.
not
Let's
charged.
move
I was
on.
not charged with
The
anything.
question's been called.
And don't you ever defame me
The
in public.
question's been called.
Unless you
It's
want
okay
to be,
for you to defame
unless you
me.
want to talk to my attorney.
Oh, please. It's okay for you to defame us, though.
No, I'm not
The
defaming
question
you.
has
There's that belief system. I'm not defaming you. I am the moral authority. Can you imagine? Imagine? Who does that look like? MSM? I'm not defaming you. I'm reporting the news. Don't call out my fakery. I will point out your sins.
been called.
You guys are a
As senior
disgrace.
trustee, do
all
I
of
have
you.
the right to
From the
ask the
convict
court-
at the end
Terry.
to the woman whose
Terry.
son had sex with the
Please call
convict's
roll.
wife.
See, he's going to call out all your sins. He doesn't have any because he hasn't been convicted. Shame on you people for thinking otherwise. You are sinners. And that's called being mentally ill. And one of these days, people will realize when they see this behavior and they'll call it out for what it is. You're a hypocrite who's mentally ill, calling out things because you believe in a system that doesn't exist. Welcome to reality, nutbag. Oh shoot, I'll let you finish watching this craziness.
This is the end of the snippet. The full version of the video can be viewed at bombardsbodylanguage.com. The link is in the description, where you can also sign up to view exclusive crime series of videos that delve into the minds of some of history's most notorious criminals. Your subscriptions ultimately are what allow Mandy to keep making videos full time.
A big thank you to all of my supporters.